You know, Friday nights are really good for dinner parties. But what can I make? That cooking cream was really good. I like that product. I know. How about some pasta? But what can I do with it? Maybe some chicken? I'm in the mood for some peppers. It's spring. Oh, that would be awesome. Okay, so I think I've got it. Let me send a quick email. Get everybody over here. Tonight, 7 p.m. Bring the wine and the garlic bread. I have the rest. Sent. Okay, we've got some work to do. So here's what we're going to do. I've got that garlic cooking cream. I've got the chicken I mentioned. So we're going to take our stick of butter and we're going to saute up some goodies. I've got a whole 4 cups of mushrooms. Told you it's springtime, I was looking for some new stuff. So 4 cups of mushrooms, 2 whole poblano peppers that have been chopped up. I'll show you my secret to getting them that fine. With the onion, we've got a large onion here we're going to chop up. Sun-dried tomatoes. Oh, this is going to be fantastic. Oh, let me tell you. Got about a tablespoon or so of parsley that we're going to mix in with the sauce that we're going to create. Now for that sauce, we go back to the cooking cream I mentioned. And yes, I have 3 cups of milk here. We may not use all of it, but the trick is to get to the sauce to that thickness and creaminess that you want. So up to 3 cups of milk. We're going to put it over some fettuccine. Now when we go to cook up our chicken, we're going to sprinkle some Italian seasoning on it. So I've got 4 tablespoons to go with our 2 pounds of chicken breasts. But we still have some work to do. So first up, let's chop up the onions and the rest of these sun-dried tomatoes so we can get this going. So this is my little friend, Choppy. He was a present, but he comes in really handy, hence the name Handy Chopper. I highly recommend you invest the $10 or so in case you don't have the money to invest in the food processor. In a pinch, this little guy gets the job done. So we're going to take our onion and just load it right in. Put the lid on it. And away we go. This little chopper really is fantastic. So if you're wondering how I got my poblano pepper chopped up so fine, now you know. And that's how the onion got so fine. As much as I would like to admit that we could just throw these sun-dried tomatoes, which of course will be so fantastic, into a food processor or my chopper, the truth is they just really don't chop up that well in one of those. But obviously you can see that I've been working at it. So I have a great Santoku knife that is perfect for this. And instead of just trying to sit here and slice it and slice it and slice it, let me show you one of my tricks. I just lay the tomatoes out on the cutting board, put the knife over it, put my hand on top for pressure. My right hand, since I am right-handed, is on the back, and just push down. Lift up and push down, and repeat over and over. Now it's kind of messy. It feels like you're chopping up a raisin. Sometimes you do have to pull the knife through. When you pick up the knife, you'll notice sometimes you'll have to actually push the sun-dried tomatoes off of it because they're a little sticky. That's what gives it that wonderful flavor. So just repeatedly over and over until we kind of mince up those whole tomatoes. And there's a couple of reasons for this. Sun-dried tomatoes whole taste fabulous and they're great to cook with. But I just really love that flavor burst you get when they're chopped up. So there we go. Now it matches the other tomatoes. We'll drop it right in on top here. Looks like we have just about everything ready. What we want to do first is get that chicken going. Now we're not going to cook it with all of the other vegetables. We're going to broil it for 20 minutes. So I'm going to put it on a pan, stick it in the oven, put the fettuccine on so that it can cook while we get our sauce going. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. So the chicken breasts are on the pan. We've got the seasonings topped off. Now we're going to put it in the oven at broil for 20 minutes. So here are the players for this stage. We've got our mushrooms, sun-dried tomatoes, onions, the poblano pepper, our Philadelphia cooking cream, great product. I know I mention it all the time, but I'm making converts of you one by one. And our milk. So we've got the butter in the skillet. Now it's time to make the magic happen. We're going to start sauteing everything up and get a nice good base going with our vegetables. Now we've got everything in the skillet except for the milk and the cooking cream. We let the butter melt down a little bit, get everything mixed together. We're going to just let it cook on about medium-high heat to get things to soften up a little bit. Now as this is cooking down, you'll notice that I'm stirring it thoroughly. You want to make sure that everything gets evenly coated. And right about now is a good time to take that tablespoon of parsley and sprinkle it across the top. Now I know it seems like that one stick of butter isn't enough to get the job done, but if you look, you can see how the onion and the mushroom and the pepper is starting to soften up. And I can smell it. Man, it smells wonderful. Now we've got our mushrooms and our sun-dried tomatoes and our onion and our poblano all cooked down. We've got everything ready to go, so let's get that cooking cream added in. Love this stuff. Just scoop it right on top of the skillet. Make sure you get all of it because it's so creamy and delicious. There we go. Now we're going to get that mixed in. Look how creamy that gets instantly. You couldn't ask for an easier sauce. So as we get it all mixed together, now it's time to add our milk in. So I've taken 2 cups of that milk that we had and gotten it ready. So we're just going to pour it right on top. Set the rest of it aside and stir it up. So at this point, we want to make sure that the sauce is thoroughly mixed together, the milk and the cooking cream, with all of our wonderful spring garden ingredients. And we're going to let it simmer just a little bit to thicken to that right amount that we want it. And then it'll be time to cut up the chicken and add it to the sauce. So stay tuned. And we've got our chicken all cut up, adding it to the sauce. At this point, we haven't had to add any extra milk, but it's going to start thickening up when we add this chicken and turn up the heat just a little bit. So first step is to make sure you get the chicken mixed in nice and good. Now I said earlier that we were kind of on a medium-low heat, so we're going to turn it back up closer to medium. Make sure everything gets good and cooked together. Now at this point, keep an eye on it for about 5 minutes. Add more milk as necessary. If you want it a little thicker than this, feel free to add more milk. If you don't want it any thicker, then let it sit as it is. So 5 more minutes. We'll serve it up with some pasta and some fabulous garlic bread. Pair it with a nice wine. And we'll be good to go for our little dinner party. Smells fabulous. So let's see how this turned out. Just a little bit of fettuccine with our fantastic sauce. Another fantastic hit. I don't know about y'all, but I have a dinner party to get ready for. So fix up this recipe and I promise you'll enjoy it. See you next time.